Okay.
Oh, it says we are live.
Well, hello. Finally. That only took what, 30 minutes of getting it together? Oh my gosh. Lord have mercy. Let me
That's
make
life.
sure that I'm on my page. Whew, have mercy. Ah, look at us. Yes.
Oh, we
Okay.
are there? Okay,
Yes,
good.
we are there.
Good. I'm not even going to play around and try and check on mine because next thing something. It's
Yes.
technology's been a technology on me today.
Well, awesome, awesome, awesome. I feel like Hercules, Hercules. Yo,
Okay.
tech be teching. I'm telling you. I'm telling you. And Facebook has not, I hate to say it, but as a friend of mine says, Bookface has not been my friend
Book
lately.
face.
Yes. So, hey, everybody. Hey, everybody. I am Danielle Fisher, and I am here with my good girlfriend over here, Tracy. Okay, I'm sorry. Let me be formal. Patrice Tisdale, Esquire.
Otherwise known as Trucy.
Yes, and some more, but we're not gonna get there. So,
You just gonna
so
start from the ground.
today, if this is your first time watching and joining me today, I am Danielle Fisher, and I work with handcrafted product makers to who are ready to scale their business on Etsy to expand their digital footprint in a more effortless way as the CEO of Digital Expansion for Craftpreneurs. I also own a small business. It's Small Business Saturday, y'all. Creations by Jimmy's daughter. So I have that side as well. And I'm going to let Tracy introduce herself too.
Hey everyone, Patrice Tisdale, Tracy Tisdale, aka your, I jokingly say your professional legal strategist,
Yes.
professional all the time. But when I need to, tap into the other side for my clients, I do. I am a legal strategist and litigator that I work with entrepreneurs like yourself who are looking to use the law, leverage the law to their advantage so that they can have a fully vetted path to their goals, make sure that their contracts and paperwork is in order, and do so like billionaires do, but without having to spend the billions. So I
I
make
heard
sure
that.
that, right? Yes, we got to make sure that you are in order with what you are doing, and that
Yes.
your operations run in line with what your documents say that they do. And so I
Yes.
do it differently because I'm here. My goal is to try to make sure clients can do what they want to do within the bounds of the law.
That sounds perfect for me. And if you all didn't know, I just want to say I am a lawyer. A lot of people do know it. Some
Mhm.
people don't. But as you know, a lawyer that represents themselves has a fool for a client. So we don't do that over here. And so,
Exactly.
uh-huh. Because we don't always make the best decisions for ourselves. So
Yes, especially when the emotions get involved. But that doesn't mean, Danielle doesn't know what she's talking about. She very much so
amen.
knows what she's talking
Thank you,
about.
girl. Thank you, girl. Listen, I really appreciate you being here today because I I've been in the business. I've been on Etsy as a seller for 5 years, going on 6 now.
Mhm.
And it's almost my anniversary. Um,
Ooh.
I know, right? But what keeps happening, what I see in the industry, and my particular industry is, of course, I'm a wreath maker, floral designer, and for home decor. But I see it in other areas of crafting, in the crafting industry, particularly,
Mhm.
that people are trying to sell things that they should not be trying to sell. And no matter how many times, we let people know, they still try to get away with it and try to sneak by
Mhm.
and sell things that they shouldn't be selling. And then their shops get closed. So recently, I have heard that there are quite a few TikTok shops that have gotten closed recently for doing this particular thing. So, what happens, particularly in the wreath industry, is, and this happens with the NFL, college teams, sororities, and fraternities. Um, Disney is a huge one. Just all those things. Elf on the Shelf. Because let me tell you, I'm going to tell you what happened. I went to the store and I went to the at home store and I was talking to my biz bestie on the phone. And I'm like, yo, girl, I was looking for Christmas stuff. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I just came across the cutest little girl. She's an elf and she was chocolate and everything. And I just, oh my gosh, I'm like, she's so cute. And I sent her the picture. I'm like, look at this, look at this. So I had it in my workshop for a couple of weeks and never turned it over. Never turned it over to look at the tags, nothing. Didn't even realize it was in a whole section that said Elf on the Shelf. Did not, all I saw was this elf that I wanted, right? So I'm like, I'm going to make this elf today and I'm going to do it on live and blah, blah, blah. And I go to turn it over and I was like, dang, nabbit, I got to take this daggone thing back because I can't sell this. I
Mm-hmm.
saw the tag that said Elf on the Shelf copyright. I'm like, what? So I was so disappointed, but it is what it is. I
Mm-hmm.
have been working too hard to get my stuff closed down.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I want to talk about today. Can we talk about exactly what is a copyright and how does this affect the crafters?
Most definitely. So a lot of people think of, copyright and trademarks as, some people will think they're the same thing and they're not.
Mm-hmm.
Copyright is something that comes up out of your creation, right?
Mm-hmm.
Your
Mm-hmm.
original work that is done, and you automatically get a copyright, right? You don't have
Mm-hmm.
to, clearly you register it with the copyright office, then you've set your mark as to when it was fully established. So that makes it easier if someone's going to claim that there's an infringement, to show that you did it first. But a copyright automatically happens when the author creates a work that is their original piece and meets certain requirements. So to your point, a lot of these things that, like, with, as you said, with reed making, and I didn't even think about it until we started talking. I have seen those reeds that, especially during this time period where
Mm-hmm.
it's, playoffs and football Sunday and,
Mm-hmm.
all the jazz. You see a lot of reeds that have the FAMU or the
Yep.
Michigan State or,
Yep.
the Dallas Cowboys
Mm-hmm.
portion. Using their logos is a no-go,
Right.
unless somehow you got, there are exceptions to it, but you cannot just, pick up, as we have in the description, just because you bought it, don't mean
Mm-hmm.
you can use it, especially
Right.
when it's for commercial purposes. So,
Right. And I think people get, I wanted to talk about it today because I think people get confused with how that works. Because I know that even as wreath makers, we have our own thing. Like I can give someone a formula of how to make a wreath, right?
mhm,
And we call them recipes,
mhm,
where you have your basic recipe on how to do a particular design. However, everybody should be adding their own touch to it, right?
mhm, mhm,
So that's like uh, kind of like your intellectual property, which creates this unwritten copyright idea, right? Because this is your work. So, in saying that, then I think I also think people misunderstand when they go to the store, just like I did, and buy that elf on the shelf. Well, I bought it. So that
mhm,
means I can resell it. And that's
mhm,
not what it means. All
mhm,
these things require licensing.
mhm,
So, like, even, and I see sororities. and fraternities a lot, a lot, a lot, a lot, a lot, a lot. And it doesn't mean, I think, licensing to purchase licensing for sororities and fraternities can be significantly less than you trying to get a license for the NFL and or Disney or even college teams. Sometimes you don't necessarily, they're very expensive as well, right? And I don't think a lot of people realize that colleges have a lockdown on their colors, their logos, everything, you know, and I don't think that a lot of people really stop to think about it, you know.
And I think one of the things just kind of make it more, like relatable, because we can get lost, as attorneys, we're going to get lost in the legalese of it.
Yeah.
But think about it, if you, and this is for the craftpreneur, you create this masterpiece, right? You create a piece that you're very happy about. A person purchases it, and your idea is that you're selling it for them to use it as decorations. And then they take your piece and start blasting it or act like it's their own, and they sell it elsewhere, and you're not getting any recognition for it. Like, you'd be offended, because
Exactly.
your statement, your logo, that has intrinsic value to you as well. There's monetary
That's a great
value, there's
example. Yeah.
intrinsic value. So you don't want anybody picking up your stuff and just doing any kind of willy-nilly piece, with
Right.
it. You want to be able to control how that is going to be used and what it's being used for. And that's what
Right.
copyright does. It gives the owner that ability to control and be able to say, no, 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 I don't want your stuff associated with it. And I think, not to get political, I can't remember which rock band it was, but I think they asked Trump to stop playing their music
Yes.
at his rallies,
Yes.
because it seems as if they're endorsing him. So
Right.
you get the right to say, I don't want it used that way.
Right.
And so
Right.
that's why this is so important. Like, you may not
Mm-hmm.
think it's anything, but as Danielle said, the NFL, I know Nike is another one. They are, and
Mm-hmm.
Disney, they are very quick. I don't know how they know their stuff is being
I
used.
don't know either. And I think
But
that's the other thing too, because um Etsy is for the handcrafter, right? That platform, the handcrafter, the unique crafter, making the unique items, the personalized items, things of that nature, right? And so they feel like they're never going to find me. There's millions of sellers on here. They're never going to find me. I'm a small shop, you know. Y'all don't believe the hype. Do not believe the hype. I'm telling you, it might take them a little bit longer, but you will get caught. Okay. And it's just going to be a matter of time. And after all that work that you put in to build this shop and to build your brand, and speaking of that, building your brand, do you want your brand built on somebody else? You want your brand to be you. I don't want my brand to be affiliated because of somebody else who's already built their brand. You know what I'm saying? That's just me personally, but I want my brand to be Danielle, so that when somebody sees it, that's the Danielle design. That's creations by Jimmy's daughter. They know that. And so that's what I've been working for. So I don't want it to be, and then if you try to resell my stuff, I don't get a piece of that. And that's not fair to me, right? So I think it's just really important that people really stop, because you really want to be able to run your business in a legal way, because you want longevity. This is for sustainability. This is for, if you are, not saying that everybody has a business for legacy purposes, but I know that's what Danielle is doing it for. And by legacy, I don't necessarily mean to my children. I just mean that somebody coming up behind me can see that what I have built and know that they can do it too. That kind of thing. You know what I mean?
And that's it. Like,
Yeah.
some people, and I know one of the things people out there would be like, oh, well, it's fair use, it's fair use, it's fair use. Right.
Mm-hmm.
And there are fair use is an exception, but there are
Yeah.
legal intricacies and nuances for you to make sure that you're actually applying, like you're making sure you're abiding by what those steps are to be able to
Right.
claim it is not something that shouldn't be a chat GPT or Claude. You go on there to go see what that
Yep.
looks like. There's case law
Yep.
that's going to, provide more nuances as to when it's applicable and when it's not. So, being mindful
Hmm.
of that, and what you're
Hmm.
going to be, doing with it. So, there's a piece that if you're using something or it inspires you, for example, like the colors inspire you to do something, it's not saying you can't use those colors, because we see
Hmm.
it all the time.
Right.
We see the Dallas Cowboys blue and silver, grayish
Hmm.
silver. It is, how are you transforming what that copyrighted piece looks like into your own original work?
Hmm.
Right. So
Right.
if you are literally just picking it up and picking up that Dallas Cowboys star and plopping it on what you're doing, you're not transforming, right? Or you're
Hmm.
most likely,
Right.
we can't give
Right.
legal advice. Most likely you're not transforming, the work. So, and as Danielle said, you have your shop, you're going to be taking
Hmm.
pictures, right? A lot of people, that's
Exactly.
what social media has us do. We're taking pictures, we're putting out there, showing what we're doing, what we're not doing. And those
Hmm.
pictures, because I also, see it in the real estate space where they're taking pictures of work that's being done or not done. And I'm like, you are building evidence for a lawsuit against you. If you're not doing it right, a litigator like myself, you
Yep.
just gave me a treasure trove.
Listen, this is why I tell people, this is why I'm a true crime addict. Okay. Y'all need to be watching some of these true crime shows because I'm just saying, this is where you pick up all these little things like people that don't realize, do you know how much stuff stays in your phone? Everything. And y'all just keep making the same mistake. So,
And
yeah,
that thing called the Wayback Machine, right? Like I've
yeah.
literally have had arbitrations where during the hearing, I'm on the Wayback Machine looking up to see, like, is what you're saying right? Because now I can pull it up to see
Mm-hmm.
if 2 years ago, did your website say this?
Mm-hmm.
Did it show this? So be mindful. What you put out there can
Right.
be, if you know you're not doing it right,
Yep.
can be a detriment to you should you
Mm-hmm.
get to it. As Danielle said, these people, whether it's they're hiring people and they'll eventually get to you,
Mm-hmm.
um, they will get to you, and all that information you're putting out there can be basis, that
And
that they're going to.
I'm gonna tell you, particularly on Etsy,
Mm-hmm.
somebody else can report you. That's all that needs to happen is that
Mm-hmm.
somebody else report you and then it'll
Mm-hmm.
give them an alert. So Etsy doesn't have to be the one to find you, you know, and they'll give you a warning the first
Mm-hmm.
time because they'll deactivate that item you cannot sell.
Oh,
They'll take
really?
that item
Okay.
down. Yes, they will take that item down and then, but if you keep violating, if you keep doing it, your shop is done. Like you can
Mm-hmm.
forget it. You're going to have to go somewhere else, whatever. And I mean, that's fine. That's all well and good. But then you're missing, I mean, really, was it worth it? Because then if your shop was successful and you're missing all of the other millions of shoppers that are there to look for this particular thing, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And unless you have a following and an email list, they're gone because they're not going to know where you went,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
So because there is no more warning after that, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just something that I wanted to be sure that we got out here, particularly now that we're in this holiday season and this is the heightened season of gift giving and all of that. That I thought this would be the perfect time for us to let the people know, you know, let them know,
That's what I
like
was
stop
doing.
all of that.
Yep. I was building this thing where I'm like, tis the season for clarity. Like
Yes,
you need to be
exactly.
clear what you're doing. And some
Right.
people are willing to take those risks, right? There's some
Mm-hmm.
people that's just like, look, I'm gonna do it just for this time season between, Black Friday and
Right.
Cyber Monday. And I'm a make a run for the border once I get, once you collect it. And that's fine. Like if you,
Yep.
I'm not going to tell you to do anything that breaks the law.
Hmm.
And you can, but people's risk tolerances are different.
Hmm.
But
Yeah.
do know if you can be inspired,
Yes.
you can use that inspiration in your work.
Hmm.
You can use copyrighted work if it's in fair use, if it's, you know, public domain type thing. Again, those are legal technical terms. So
Hmm.
make sure you figure out whether or not what you're doing is like that or falls within that. You know, you know, transformative, you know,
Right.
type work. But if you decide that they're not going to find me, it's okay, it's not that big of a deal, they will, you know, come after you. And copyrights lasts for a while, right?
Hmm.
Like you have the
Hmm.
owner that creates it, and then I think it's either 50 or 75 years after their death. And you know, you can look
Very long time.
to renew it, you know, from there.
Right.
Or if it's an, or, you know, an entity that holds that copyright, they hold that copyright.
Hmm. Yep.
So
Yep.
be mindful in all in your crafting and your
Yep.
approaches, you know, to your design. Don't
Yep.
think like, all right, I can just grab it and go. Mm-mm.
Yeah. Because you know, when like, so you have those that are the copyrights, and I'll give you an example of how it affects us as wreathers when people take our stuff. But these trademarked items,
Mm-hmm.
right, that we're talking about, I just feel like y'all know, like they have the
Mm-hmm.
TM that's trademarked, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But for us, what happens, and this is for the customer that may be catching this live. Hey, Pitt,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
how are you? Yes, when you give people a heads up and they don't listen, exactly. That's why we doing this. Because
Mm-hmm.
it's crazy. And I'm just trying to get the people to know. But like for us as wreath makers, this happens. I've seen it happen so much in the last couple of years, particularly during COVID.
Mm-hmm.
That um and there's shops on Etsy, because I've
Mm-hmm.
reported them, that I know they didn't make that stuff
Mm-hmm.
because they're stealing pictures from some of us,
Mm.
and
Oh.
they're not even savvy enough to take the people's name off of the thing or their picture. It's
Uh-huh.
insane. But they'll have whole shops based
Mm-hmm.
on, you know, somebody else's work,
Mm-hmm.
and selling it for much less, like much less, which doesn't
Mm-hmm.
even logically make sense. When you see all of the work that's done, you're not going to see something that this person is selling for $200 to be sold for 35.
Mm.
Something's not, you're not going to get that.
Mm-hmm.
And but people see it like that and they're like, "Oh, I want that." And then you get it and it's a pillow with a
Mm-hmm.
picture of that on it,
Mm.
or it's total dollar store junk. You know what I'm saying? So you know how it affects you.
Mm-hmm.
So think about what you're doing and how it would affect somebody else, because you're doing the same thing. You know what I mean?
Yep. Yep. And as Kelly
So
says, imitation is not sustainable,
no.
right? Like you cannot do so. Sorry,
Mm-mm.
you see me glancing down looking at the computer because StreamYard don't always show
I
the
know. Me
comments.
too. That's what
So
I'm like. It doesn't.
if you see me looking down,
Yes, that's why I'm looking over
that's what
here,
it
because it
is.
doesn't tell you. Yeah, I'm looking
Mm-hmm.
here and I'm like, there's nobody here, but there are people here. So we
Yes.
apologize. We don't see all, if you're commenting, we cannot see all of your comments. So
Yeah, I
please
think you
don't
have
take
to
it
go through
personal.
the StreamYard and like register or something to that effect. So I'm just doing a quick look through it. But, you know, I think that's you know, in terms of takeaway or overall takeaway, it is making sure that if you are a craftpreneur, first of all, although Danielle is not giving legal advice, she went to school. She know what she's talking about. So, you know, her opinion, you know, take heed. Take heed. It's not gonna be that, you know, as I said, it's not attorney-client relationship,
Yeah.
etc. But she went to school the same way I did. So
Hmm.
take heed when she gives those warning bells. As Pitt says, people don't want to listen. You know that old saying, hard ears made for soft behind. You
Yes.
don't want you don't want to lose what you have built, because you've built it. You know,
Exactly.
you put in the
Yeah.
time, you put in the work.
Yes.
It's not to say be risk averse and oh my gosh and cower, but as Danielle said, like look into getting the licensing. You know, they
Mm-hmm.
some of them will do it. Or if you really want to use something, like go chat to an attorney that does this and see how
Right.
you can go about doing so, because that moment that you pay for that consult,
Mm-hmm.
those lessons that you learn from it, you can use, you know, further in your business or in other aspects of your design. But
Correct.
you know, you don't want your design being used a particular way, or being, you know, desecrated or whichever. These same with the bigger companies that have the logos and,
Right.
you know, stuff that you may want to copy.
Yep. Yep. Got it. Well, I thank you so much. This has
Thank
been, we could go
you.
on and on and on forever.
I know, right? But
I
this is
truly
fun.
appreciate it. Yeah, it was fun. We got to do this more often, girl.
Yes, yes.
Definitely. All right.
Oh, we got
Thank
one
you.
more from Pitt.
Oh, okay.
They, she said they
Yes,
actually
they
get
do.
angry at you. Oh, wow.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
Okay.
Just
Okay.
because you call it, that's a good point, Pitt. Just because you call it something different does not make it different.
Mm-mm.
Stop thinking other people, stop thinking that these people are dumb. This just kills me. I see that a lot too. That Grinch, they like to call the green monster. Seriously?
Seriously.
Yeah, it happens
Wow.
a lot, a
Wow.
lot, a lot. And people are
Wow.
making good money off of it, and that's the thing. So yeah. Hey,
Yeah.
Asia. Oh wow. Now that we're like finishing, hi Ivy. Everybody's comments are coming up. What the hey?
But yeah, I know people, they need not to be putting things, as you know, Danielle gave the example before where you're putting stuff on a pillowcase. I don't, no.
I
That is
know.
not you know, that's not transformation.
Girl, I think StreamYard just wanted us to get warmed up. Hey,
Yes.
Cynthia. My
Yeah, Pitt,
goodness.
you started commenting and they just come
I
rolling in now.
know. Thank you, Pitt. You sure did.
Thank
You
you.
started something.
Hmm. All right, but
Well,
this
we're going
was
to let y'all get
good.
back to your Black Friday weekend and Small Business Saturday. Make sure y'all go out and support a small business today.
Yes.
And yeah, so
And what are you
we
doing in
appreciate it.
your
Oh, yes,
in
my
your
master
business?
class.
Yes.
Well, my master class, my Etsy master
Mm-hmm.
class is on Monday, Cyber
Oh.
Monday at 7 p.m.
Mm-hmm.
So, yes, be sure to follow both of us. We both
Mm-hmm.
have our profile pages, and be sure to follow us.
Yes.
Tracy always gives out good information,
Thank
and
you.
it's great for all of us entrepreneurs.
Mm-hmm.
So, hey,
Yes.
Rhonda.
So you can drop, you know, the link to your
Yeah,
store in the comments afterwards,
I will
so
do
that
that.
we can go look and browse and peruse and support.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes. I have 20% off in my shop today, this
there you
weekend.
go.
So, yep,
There you
yep.
go. And I'm
All
going to
right,
see,
girl.
I haven't finished it, but I'm going to, you know, for those that have their contracts or yeah, you have your business foundational documents, contracts, etc. I'm offering to do a review of those over the holiday season. So I
Awesome.
can put that there as well.
That's a great deal. That's a
Yeah.
great one.
Yeah.
That's
So
awesome. Let me find my stuff. Let me find my stuff.
yes, the review every now and then, you know, you should look at it or
Yes.
get it reviewed. So I'm
Hmm.
opening the doors to do so.
Yeah, that's a whole thing. That's a whole nother topic too. We need to talk about that because people kill me like when you have all these documents to sign and they're like, well, this is such and such, and you're just like, I need to read that.
Mm-hmm.
Like, do not sign anything without reading it. I don't care how long it is.
Yep. Yep. But
So,
it's that another topic for
hmm
another day. But
exactly,
craftpreneurs, y'all be careful in these streets. Don't be running
exactly.
around let somebody tell you foolishness,
Yep, because
and put yourself at risk.
Well,
All
thank you,
right.
love. I appreciate you.
All right. Bye,
And y'all
all.
have a good one.
All right.
All right. Bye.